I'm back. Let's do some quick TA. I haven't looked at my charts for a little while. Some of the trades I've been making have been off my phone during work. I was off ill yesterday as well, so I haven't been doing much trades. The only trade I'm in is actually a Bitcoin long. So that's doing quite well at the moment. I took profits on that and have just left the moon bag. But let's have a look at it in a bit more macro perspective, and let's start with the BLX chart, okay? Bitcoin Liquid Index, the most amount of data from all of the largest liquidity pools for Bitcoin, yeah? Cool. So what I have here is the bull cycle measured by time in green, and then the bear market in red, and then green bull, red bear, green, and that's where we are today. Cool. So yeah, bull markets typically last about 1,064 days. And we are currently, well, if it was to get to 1,064 days for this bull market that we're in, we'll get to October 2025 next year. Okay, so that's quite interesting. Let's have a look at how much time has passed since the low. So if we measure from here to there, so we've been about 539 days, just over 50%. So yeah, let's see how it plays out. Of course, another thing that I was counting here, or I was measuring here, I should say, is the amount of time that had passed for the all-time high breaks. And as you can see, the amount of time that it's taken to break out until all-time highs has been shortening. The first one here was it only took 805 days, second one 735, and this one was the shortest by far, 469 days. So yeah, also measuring the 50% levels, but we're way past that, aren't we? We're way past that. We did get a consolidation above the 618. We did get a symmetrical triangle, which broke us out, and we've been off to the races ever since. And can Bitcoin come back down to 49k? Of course it can, but it's doing well at the moment. But let's look at Bitcoin in a bit more detail, yeah? Bitcoin on the 4-hourly chart, Binance. So this is what we've been tracking, mainly been tracking the fact that we are in a range. At the bottom of the range here, this red line here, it's still conforming to this. And the top of the range here, this white line here, we're still in this range, so nothing to worry about. We're still in that range. We're still in this range. So trade the ranges. Trade the ranges, and that's what we've been doing. And that's why I entered a long down here when we first entered down here, and a long down here as well. I put in a long over here, and we've been getting those gains. But Bitcoin was trending on this trend line here, making its way up, and we did lose the trend line, right? We lost this trend line, which wasn't a good thing. We came back down to the bottom of the trading range, and then we retested the support trend line here. We got rejected against it, so we came back down. And we're now making our way to make a campaign to go higher again. So that's where we are. We currently got our resistance trend line there as well. Did that just move back? I don't know what's going on there. Okay, so I've got a resistance trend line in here as well, and that's what I'm going to be tracking for the moment. We've only got 1-2 hits here, and we're currently coming against it right here on the 4-hourly chart. We did break above it, and then we've just broken back down. But I didn't expect, I should say, for us to break out of it on its first attempt. Usually these sort of things, they need to hit a couple of times to break through. Do you know what I mean? And it's got the downtrending resistance line here, trend line here, and the 50%. So Bitcoin's got a lot to contend with. It's got a lot to contend with to break through. But so far, it's doing well. I had a 50% here. Let's make that a bit more accurate. This 50% level here, this fib. You know, I like to back out my fibs. Backing out my fibs, man. So I was looking at this 50% here, and yeah, look at that. It hit the 50%, of course, and it's making its way higher. But what's Bitcoin gonna do next? So I don't know, do I? I'm a detective. That's what we are. We have no idea what's going on this side of the chart. No idea. All we can do is put probability in our favor and just make the trade, right? But from places like this, you could have put on a short, right? Usually I would have put on a short for something like this, but I actually decided that I'd wait until we actually come up to potentially this 50% before I was actually to consider a short. That's why I haven't entered a short at this period of time. But hey, might lose that bet, and that's fine. I'm prepared to take that chance if I want to entertain a short. But so far, Bitcoin's looking pretty good. The only thing I don't really like about this, give myself a bit of room, is that the volume is dwindling on this move. The volume is actually going down while prices are going up high. We want to have high volume when we're making some big moves. So let's see how the rest of the week goes for that. If I zoom out onto the weekly, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so this swing right here. Okay, let's remove the RSI for a moment. So you can see the pink line here. You can see that pink line. Come on. Yeah, these pink lines here, that's the WD GAN swings. The 50% of this swing from the top to the bottom comes up here at 56.2. Ideally, I think a nice retracement back to here would be great, would be really good. But I'm okay with us potentially going sideways here. I'm okay with us potentially going sideways and us going sideways for a couple of months. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. Even towards June, that would be great. Maybe even July, and then finally get a breakout. That's much more healthier, to be honest with you. And I think in one of my previous videos, I said when we was up here like this, I was saying if we shoot out of this and we push up to like 80 odd K, I'm probably going to be out. I think because we'll be going up too high, too fast. I know people have been talking about left translated cycle and stuff like that, but whatever cycle you want to call it, for me, that would have been pretty much a danger side. I would have taken the majority of my crypto out. But so far, we've been going sideways. We've been in this trading range since what, February? So we've been going sideways for a little while. A period of time has passed. How much time has actually passed? Let's have a look. Ever since we came in, let's switch to the daily for a second. Ever since we came into this trading range from back here, 28th of February, 28th of Feb, all the way till now, that's 55 days, right? 55 days in this consolidation. How about the previous consolidation back here in November? How long did that take? We were up here, got in here around there before we took off out that trading range, about 76 days, right? 76 days. So we could go another 76 days, another 20 days, another 20 days, another 3 weeks. And obviously we had this consolidation period right here. Okay, look at that. Nice consolidation there being built on this consolidation here. And look at the volume on that. This is what, look at the volume on that. Big push of volume as we was going up. And that's what you kind of want to see. That's what you want to see. Relative increase in volume to prove its moves. So yeah, let's continue to monitor it. I believe this trading range was quite a long time. In this trading range, we was here for about 200 days. So we did this for a long time. So we could go sideways for a while. But the consolidation is shortening. It is shortening. So we could break out from here, but I would like it to go longer, to be honest with you, to give me confidence in a much more stronger move. But that's Bitcoin. All right, so we had a look at the king. Let's have a look at the queen. Let's have a look at ETH. So ETH, what am I looking at in this chart? So this looks quite interesting. So still measuring the swing. Let's move you out of the way here. Give myself a bit more space. What am I looking at? What comes to mind when I first look at this chart when I haven't visited for a while? First looking at this swing. Okay, so I've got the 50% in. It's accurate. That's coming at 313. What did ETH do? Well, ETH has come back down to retest the 618, the golden ratio. You know, I like to track this, the 0.618 to the 0.65. And we bounced on it. We actually got 2 hits of it, to be honest with you. And we are currently above the 50%. So it's looking decent, I want to say. Decent, 313. We want to hold this at least. We might get a bit of a rejection here if we don't get some strong movement from Bitcoin, or maybe it just kind of goes sideways like that. But yeah, above the 50% is the first sign of strength. We want to see a break of this trend here, okay, this downward trend line here, to give me more confidence that ETH is looking strong. But ETH isn't as strong as Bitcoin, right? Most alts aren't. Unless you're in the good alts, right? But yeah, we still got, I mean, if you was to zoom out on something like the weekly, for example, you can see we broke out of this rising triangle. It's typically a bullish pattern right here that I was tracking. It's this rising triangle. We've broken out. We haven't really properly retested it. Don't get me wrong, that's at like 2K or something like that. It's quite far back down, but it's just to keep that on your charts. You have to keep these things on your charts. And if we were to extend this, because you notice if I change it to the weekly right now, you can see this, the zigzag here, this white line here, it's changed slightly. And what's the 50% of that? because you know you got to track the major swings as well. That comes in at 2.8 and its 618 is 2501. So those are the areas I'll be watching with ETH as well. So I'll put that on here. I'll be watching you. And you just want to have these placed down, really. Ideally, you want to have an alert. Ideally, you want to have an alert for things like this. And I like my alerts to go to my phone as well. So, yeah, that's the best way to do it. That's ETH, though. It's not looking too bad. Let's look at ETH BTC quickly. Let's look at altcoins. ETH. Do I have ETH BTC on this? ETH BTC on that. Cool. ETH BTC, yes. So, ETH is continuing to lose. It's continuing to lose strength against Bitcoin, and that's fine, right? Because as I've always said, my plan is to layer into that. My plan is to layer in swapping my Bitcoin for ETH. And at the moment, we're still breaking down, so it's not necessarily the best thing at the moment, you know, at this point of time, because it would have been better for me to keep on to my Bitcoin at this present time. But going forward, this might all play out, right? And that's the bet I'm willing to take. I will layer in, and we're getting to part 2 here and part 3 here. Okay, where I layer in more as we go down the chain here. That's how I like to layer in my bets. We've obviously got this up swoping support line, trend line. Okay, hopefully it acts as support, and we've also got the weekly swing here in yellow. So I'm hoping it acts as some significant support. But it's hard selling Bitcoin for ETH. I know as we're breaking down, you know, it comes to that time again where it's like, oh, sell Bitcoin for ETH though. Don't know if it's going to be a good trade, but hopefully, you know, if I take into account how much time we got left in the bull market, you know, where we're 50% of the way through, you know, I'm hoping the alts really take a shine, particularly ETH. All right, particularly ETH. So that's ETH. Okay, so we're looking at Solana versus the dollar on the Binance chart, currently on the weekly time frame. Let's give ourselves a bit more space. Let me have a look at this chart, see what I was charting here. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I got some levels here that I marked off, which was cool, and I got some red arrows here. I know what I was doing with these red arrows. What I was doing was measuring the highs, the price of this particular coin, which is Solana, versus what it was doing at the same time for ETH and Bitcoin. And while Bitcoin was putting in higher lows like this and here, ETH wasn't. ETH is actually, this one's a lower low. It's lower than this one here. And that just showed that at that particular time that Solana was showing a bit more strength. But never mind that. So what have we got here? We're looking at the weekly. I've got the 50% on this swing here, on that swing here. But if I was to switch to the daily, you'll see it a bit more accurately. Yeah, you can see there it is. I've actually got it from that swing here. I've actually got it from this swing. As you use the fibs, as you back out your fibs, you'll start to realize how best to use it. Where's the best place to sort of grab the bottom from, and which top you want to get. So keep on using it, keep on trying. It took me a while to get used to it and where I wanted to put my fibs. But we can see what Solana did. Look at that monthly swing, hit the monthly swing, got rejected, came back down, retested the 618, the golden ratio, even this weekly swing, nearly to the dollar there. That's absolutely amazing. This is why you got to have these in your charts. And let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's see if we can see anything interesting. Let's zoom in even to the 6 hour. Okay, so yeah, Solana again above its 50%, still looking good. That's all right. That's okay. As long as we hold 144, that's good. I wouldn't want to see us drop below 116 there. That would be a danger sign because we're coming back into this consolidation range and it might just need more time to mount an attack. So I'm holding strong on my spot positions on Solana. Would I be putting in any leverage trades? Probably not right now. It's looking a bit rising wedgy. Maybe if we come up here and if Bitcoin is, for example, still hovering around its 50% or below its 50%, I will look to short Solana potentially. Okay, so that's something I'll keep my eye on. Once again, look at these moves. Low volume. So I don't like the look of that. Let's move over to another altcoin I watch, which is Near. Let's have a look at Near. Near was doing phenomenally, 2% up today. Look at all these other alts, and Near is up 2%. My gosh. So what's Near doing? Look at that. Wow. Okay. What's this line here? Let's have a look at this line here. My goodness. Look at, yes, I remember because I made a last video here where I was looking at these highs and them being touched again and used as support for Near. And look at that, broke out of its down swoping trend line. It did break out here on the daily, but I think if you used to look at this on the weekly, it isn't a breakout, it's a straight push down. But yeah, mounting an attack to its monthly swing. If Bitcoin shows any types of weakness, this will likely have a little bit of a breakdown. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest with you. Breakdown here, get some support here, mount another attack. It'll look like an inverse head and shoulders, and I don't mind taking that trade, taking along for that, really, to be honest with you. So Near's looking good, Near's looking powerful. Let's have a look at Near versus B versus ETH, because that's something I do look at as well. You want to make sure that your altcoin is outperforming ETH. A lot of the altcoins I'm in actually are. You know, I was tracking the inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, and then the right shoulder. I marked the 50% of this swing here. Okay, that swing there, and that brought the 50% to the 618. Okay, it brought in this. That's why I've got this 50% here. And you can see, look at, oh my gosh, that's why you got to get these on your charts. Look at that. Retest. Remember, this is the neckline. So we want to look at the neckline. We're looking at this trend line. Okay, and the 50%. Yeah, those are the things that we're looking at. So look at this. Look at this. So we broke down out of this trend line. Okay, out of this trend line. We came back down, retested the 50%. Maybe I should do it with the arrow. Here we go. Breakdown, retested the 50% and the trend line. It's expected to at least, like, because there's confluence there, we got this trend line here and we've got the 50% there. And you know that I was saying that I'm gonna hold this trade, swapping my ETH for Near, as long as it holds this golden ratio. And we got a bounce. So far so good. Bouncing up. You know my target's way up there. Okay, based on the inverse head and shoulders, it's way up here at 0.004 of an ETH. If we get to somewhere up here versus ETH, that's where I will consider taking some of my Near and potentially swapping it for ETH, depending on where we are in the cycle, what timing we are in the cycle. Okay, where we are in the cycle. So it continues to look good. It's continuing to look very good. Sol versus ETH as well was this one. This one was, yep. So I'm looking at it on the weekly. This is Solana versus ETH. Sorry, I'm just talking about this one quickly. Look at that. Almost a test on the 618. This is actually inverted. This is actually inverted here. So I believe this is like the 236 or something like that. Yeah. But there it is. There's the support. I don't know if it's going to break out. I was considering selling my Solana back to ETH at this point because we was reaching all-time highs again. Look at that. Reaching all-time highs. And then look, it's broken down, which would have been a good trade. It would have been a good trade. It would have been a good trade. Look at that. I would have got 30% more ETH. So it's hard sometimes, man. The psychology of the market really gets you. It even gets me. Even though some things scream out to me and say, hey, look, now's the time to sort of sell. You don't always do it. You don't always do it because, you know, you kind of look at the US dollar sometimes and focus on that. And then it just, yeah. All right, let's have a look at some other altcoins. I don't know what my chart's going to look like on some of these, or if I've got anything on the chart myself. Say, I was hearing some stuff about Say, which looked really interesting. I'm going to have to do a deep dive on this. I think maybe that's why I've labeled it in pink. I can't remember how I've categorized these, but I'll get to it. I will get to it. I promise I will. So what am I on the weekly chart? Say on Binance, why do I not have a fib extension? Why have I not backed up my fib on this? Okay, from this swing low, so from the all-time low is actually down here on Binance. It'd be roughly around here. It did hit the golden ratio. That would have been a great time to buy, but I probably would have put it on this fib rather than that one. So that being said, but a 618 buy would have been nice. A 618 buy would have been nice. It's done phenomenally. It's gone straight up. With coins like this, I will only go on the retracement. I'll only buy back in, okay, on a 618. I want a deep retracement. That's the only way I'd consider it. Okay, that's the only way I'd consider it. That and the swing high as well here. There's a swing high before it went down low. So that area there. Okay, maybe I would have done something. No, I wouldn't have done that. I would have only done a 618. I would have only done 618. I don't think I would have added more down here. But Say seems like a good project. I mean, yeah, cool. I say. Not much to say on that. Let me dive in a little bit deeper before I move on to it. Yeah, above its 50% again. It's looking good so far. Hopefully it holds on top. But we have been going up for, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. 7 days up straight. Still needs to get above its previous lows here at 67 cents. Okay, and close above that. That's what we want to see. Let's look at potential resistance level from this swing to swing low, swing high to swing low. Yeah, you can see we're coming up against this 50% here. Okay, so yeah, that probably would have been a good trade. That probably would have been a good trade. Even if you didn't want to leverage this, I could have spot traded this, but would have had to have put in a silly amount of money in here for me to really appreciate those gains if I was to do it on spot. So 618, that wouldn't have been bad. 50%. 50%. That would have been pretty good, actually, to be honest with you. Hey, Mr. Bell, you miss it sometimes. So that's Say. What about Sui? I always get mixed up between these two. Say and Sui. It looks like I was charting Sui a bit more than Say for some reason. So I'll keep track of this. And look at this. Right. For some reason, I was tracking this rising wedge. It bounced again. 618. 618. If we've been going up for a long time, chart these 618s, these golden ratios. It looks a bit rising wedgy, to be honest with you. Same thing. Falling volume. Falling volume. So I don't like the look at that. Fib, back out the fib on this. It hasn't actually got to its 50% level yet, so perhaps if its measured target, if it was to drop down, this is just very rough, will probably be around this 50%, somewhere around here. Back down at $1. You best to put it on a 50% just to be safe. Or $1.16 if you want to get back into Sui. I will track this in more detail in my next video. Sui, what else do I look at? Let's have a look at TR. Have I done anything for TR? TR is something I wanted for a while back. Look at this. Wow, it dropped below its 618 and its golden ratio. So look, automatically what that's telling you, it potentially at the moment, at least, is a bit more weaker than Say and Sui. It is closing below its 50% here. And the 618, that golden ratio, it closed inside. That's a lie. It's closed inside. You can see the closes here. That's fine. It did go beneath it in price, but it did close. The close is what we want to pay attention to. So that's looking good. That's looking good at the moment. Well, that bit's looking good. The closing beneath the 50% isn't good. It isn't good. So if Bitcoin takes a dump, it's likely this will dump too. Okay, where are you looking to? You don't want it to break these lows here. You don't really want it to break these lows. So like potentially like a 618 here at $9.31 and then maybe a 752. That's if it doesn't come back up though. That's if it doesn't come back up. Because potentially what might happen, perhaps we like shoot up. We might shoot up to like $15, come back down to 11.55 and then make our way. What does that look like? Inverse head and shoulders right there. Okay, in the making. Where does that target take us? You know, measure it. Okay, there's a bit of a hypothesis here. Okay, you wouldn't jump in at the moment. Well, I wouldn't. And then measure that out. Where does that take us to? $25. $25. So that'll be something I would be looking at. If TIA breaks out like that, I would potentially look to potentially short this and long that and hold that long. Gets up to the neckline. Depending on what Bitcoin's doing and everything, maybe I might take 50% out and leave a moon bag to just go. All right, so have these in your charts. You know what? I'll just leave this scribbling right here actually to show that it was part of something that I was thinking about. What's Uniswap been doing since that suing and all that stuff that was going? Wow, that took a dump. That took a dump. That took a dump. It's actually almost for a second went back into this trading range. I don't know what's going on with Uniswap at the moment, but it has come back above this monthly swing, which is good. That's good, but am I going to buy Uniswap? I don't know. What else have I been looking at or will I look at going forward? AVAX. What's AVAX doing? Quick thing on AVAX. Ooh. Hold on. Let's switch to the weekly. Let me see where my swing comes in from. All right. So my weekly swing here, AVAX is looking significantly weaker. AVAX is looking significantly weaker. We've broken down from this 50%. We broke down from that 50%. We're closing underneath the 618 here, which doesn't look good to me at $38.46. Want to see it get back above its 50%, $46.23, and at least consolidate around here. It's going to be caught between a rock and a hard place here, but at least if I see that, give me more confidence that it will mount an attack there. But I don't like it being underneath here. I really don't. I really don't mind. I really don't like it. But yeah, some sideways movement here would be great. So that's AVAX. Cosmos. I've got some Cosmos, but Cosmos hasn't been performing that great, to be honest with you. Cosmos hasn't been performing that great, but I like it for the airdrops, and I just kind of just hold it. You know, it has its time. And if it does eventually break out, because look at this, it's in this consolidation. It's in this consolidation. Potential consolidation. Hopefully it's not distribution and it ends up coming down. But Cosmos is actually not performing great versus Ethereum. So based off of my rules, I should really get out of this thing. based off of my rules, but I'm so into it. So I've had this for quite a while and bought some every time it goes back down, that I just kind of leave it and just wait to see what it does, because usually late into the bull market, it usually does its bits and bobs. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it there. So I've just got a few altcoins that are just kind of like that. Yeah. All right. Cool. I got a couple of calls coming in, so yeah, have a good day, and don't always follow me. It's be safe out there. What do I know? Yeah, have a good day.